Hi there, awesome Aries. Welcome to your horoscope for the next 3 months, brought to you by Creme Constellation. Remember that the most accurate astrology is your personal astrology, so only take what resonates and leave the rest. And if you are new here and don't already know this, I'm going to split this horoscope into challenges and opportunities, starting with the challenges so we can end the horoscope on a positive note. And I would genuinely like to know how you are doing and how you have been. So if you feel moved to, go ahead and leave that in the comment section below. I look forward to hearing from you. And with that said, let's get into your potential challenges. So, in the month of April, there are two transits that I would like to bring your attention to, and that is the full moon that will be in the sign of Libra. By the time you're listening to this, the full moon has already passed, but of course, you could always reflect on whether or not you had these experiences. And then the other transit is Mars entering and moving through the sign of Aries. So remember that the dates of how long each planet will be in each sign are listed in the comment section if you're interested in knowing about those. So anyway, back to this Libra full moon. So around this time could be when you're feeling more emotionally sensitive and reactive than usual, particularly in your relationships, the one-to-one dynamics. All right, there could be some form of tension that has been bubbling under the surface, and now around this Libra full moon, it is reaching a peak. And whatever the differences are, they need to be talked about. Everything needs to be aired out, spoken about, and find some form of midpoint that serves both parties in the relationship. You may find that this tension is coming from a difference in personal needs or emotional needs. Somebody may feel as though their needs are not met and vice versa. So finding a midpoint as to how to meet each other's needs and how to take care of your own needs as well, because not everything needs to be taken care of by somebody else. All right, so whether that's you realizing that or the person you're in partnership realizing that, this Libra full moon is a good time to hash those kinds of things out. And then, of course, on the positive side, the full moon can be a time of fruition, clarity, completion, and celebration. Check to see if you have any planets or angles at around 12 degrees, particularly of Libra, but also within the other signs as well. You could be experiencing some form of completion, illumination, or fruition of something in your life. And then getting into Mars in Aries. So, it's generally a good thing when a planet is in the sign that it rules. So, I do feel like for the most part, Aries, you are going to enjoy having Mars in your sign because it's your ruler. However, there are some challenging energies that can come about, which could make this transit a little less enjoyable for you, especially because you are ruled by the planet Mars. And those challenges may look like maybe some form of a struggle to regulate your frustrations or your anger, which then results in you making decisions or taking actions that are controlled by the emotions of frustration or anger. So you do need to look out for that. And also, this could be a time where you're quite combative. There is an eagerness, an easy eagerness to fight. Like anything can tick you off, anything can set it off for you around this time. All right. And if you are reactive without thinking of the consequences, this could be a time where you burn bridges, all right, or you do more damage than what you intended. You put yourself in a pickle because you are coming in all guns blazing, ready to defend yourself or ready to fight for whatever it is that you're fighting for, only to find that fight may not necessarily have been the remedy for the situation that you were presently in. So you will have to use your intuition just to ensure that you don't jump off the deep end and make matters worse for yourself. However, as I said to begin with, Mars in your sign is great energy if you know how to use it. So please use this accordingly. Channel this energy towards achieving your goals. Work silently and focused on what it is that you are trying to accomplish. No need to rub anything in anybody's face. The success is going to speak for itself, especially the people who have been doubting you, who've been telling you that you can't do this, you're not going to make it, it's not going to work. No need to prove anything to them. Avoid being sucked into that kind of energy, all right? Because these people or those situations are going to cause energy leaks, and you will find yourself very much depleted before you can even complete whatever tasks you had set out to complete. So stay focused on what it is that you want to do for yourself. And then moving on over into the month of May, we have Venus entering and transiting the sign of Cancer. So the way in which this energy can be challenging for you is that you may notice relationship conflicts coming about due to moodiness or unresolved emotional differences, or somebody just feeling like their needs are not met. It's really taking me back to that Libra full moon, and the person or the people that you may have had conflicts with or relationship tension with. So it may continue on when Venus is in Cancer, where this other person, or it could be you, Aries, who feels as though their emotional needs are not being met, are not being seen. The person may be feeling underappreciated or even emotionally misunderstood. All right, so check to see if that is you or if that is someone else in the relationship. And if it is, this is a good energy for you to really listen in on what the emotional needs of that person are and how it is that they are feeling. I think this is a time to really allow a person to talk about their feelings, and that is what will help the relationship continue on or become stronger. Because when a person feels like they don't get to say their piece, they harbor those emotions within, and it builds and it builds and it becomes this resentment, living in a person's heart towards the people that they love, maybe even family or friends or whoever it is that you're finding yourself in relationship dynamics with. So this is an important time to really consider other people's feelings, other people's emotions, and whether or not you're meeting them where they are or whether or not you're being met where you are. And this could also be a time of impulsive emotional spending, Aries. So do be on the lookout for that. If there is something that you are budgeting for, it is better for you to save the money than spend the money around this time. You don't want to disrupt your savings and disrupt your plans for a momentary emotion. All right, just to get yourself to feel better in the moment, only to find that you're actually now disrupting an entire plan that you had in motion. So also be on the lookout for that. And then getting into the month of June, we have Mercury entering and moving through the sign of Cancer, the Sun also entering and moving through the sign of Cancer, and then there will be a full moon in the sign of Capricorn. All right, so starting off with Mercury, you may find that while Mercury is in Cancer, you may be overthinking your emotions to the point where you may not want to share them with anyone, or you may over exaggerate them. You may make it seem as though something that rubbed you the wrong way actually devastated you, because perhaps there is some emotional manipulation going on. And if this is not you, Aries, then it could be somebody that you're involved with who is doing this, right? Who's making it seem like something small, maybe that you said or that you did, made them feel way worse than it actually did. So you will have to investigate whether or not that is you or that is somebody else's behavior. But nonetheless, there is an overthinking of emotions, and they're not necessarily coming out the way that it is intended or the way that you are attempting to express yourself and get people to understand you. So maybe try writing them down, find another way to get your emotions out. If you feel that you're not ready to tell someone else how you feel, then maybe, write it in a journal, and get it out that way. Write an email but never send it. Write a poem but never let anyone read it. That kind of a thing. And also, with Mercury and Cancer, this can also be a time where conflicts are arising due to conversations or criticisms that feel like personal attacks. So, the conversations that you're finding yourself in, people might be trying to give you some feedback, people maybe are giving you, some form of, they're making comments about maybe the way that you look or the way that you presented something, the way that you are doing something. You may be taking all of that criticism very personally, even if it isn't, even if other people are not intending to personally attack you, but it's just going to sound like it anyway. And I feel like the more they try to explain to you that that's not what they mean, the more personal it might be for you. So do be mindful of that, Aries. You are not under attack. You are not constantly at war, or at least it's not constantly required of you to be in defense mode. So do keep that in mind and listen to what exactly is it that they are saying at the core level. When it boils down to it, what are they actually attempting to say to you? Is it helpful or not? Before you just dismiss it as a personal attack. And then with the Sun, there is still the energy of a clash of egos going on, very likely with some authority figure. This could be someone in your family, potentially. However, it can also be someone, in the workplace who maybe has a higher ranking than you. And yeah, this is a time where you may feel quite prideful and very defensive of who you are and what you bring to the table. And if it ever seems as though that is being undermined by other people, yeah, there could be quite a bit of tension in your life around this time. So, it's really up to you how you want to handle this. At the end of the day, it's your life. However, obviously, for peace reasons, I do have to say, try taking the high road. It's temporary. And if that other person, if the other people are the ones who are in the wrong, they are going to realize it. All right. It's going to become very evident that they were the ones in the wrong. And you may even get apologies coming your way. Or people may just not have, people may end up with egg on their face, basically. And I also feel like around this time, there could be a challenge between doing what you want to do, like going for your personal goals, versus doing what you have to do, like taking care of responsibilities and duties. Obviously, this depends on how this energy shows up in your chart, but this could be a time where your personal goals kind of need to be on the back burner just for a little bit, and you need to take care of certain responsibilities and your duties so that those things don't trip you up and get in your way later on down the line. So do be aware of that as well. And then lastly, we get into the full moon in the sign of Capricorn on the 29th of June. So remember that with full moons and new moons, give about a week prior and a week after for all the events to fully play out. Don't just focus on the actual day of the full moon or of the new moon. But anyway, coming back to this Capricorn full moon, this can be a time where there are heightened emotions. Of course, the moon is full. And you may be facing some stressful situations around this time, Aries. Something may need to be adjusted. Perhaps there's some form of discipline that is required from you because this is a Capricorn moon, it's ruled by Saturn. So perhaps we spoke already about responsibilities, having to take care of responsibilities and putting the things that you want on the back burner temporarily. So I feel like this full moon, if you weren't already doing that, it might reiterate that fact that you really do need to look at the things that you are responsible for, look at the duties that you have, either on a daily basis, a weekly basis, whatever your duties, whenever you take care of your duties, and make sure that those things have been handled. And this full moon in Capricorn can also be a time of consequences for past actions or past choices. All right, so be on the lookout for that. And it could be a challenging time or a beginning of challenging times, due to something that has been ongoing, right? Something that you've been doing maybe for a very long time and it never really had any consequences. There were never really any, challenging lessons involving whatever this activity is for you. And then now around this full moon, it could be reaching its breaking point in which it can no longer continue. And there is a very physical manifestation of that being communicated to you that this is where it ends. We're not going to continue on doing this because it's going to lead to a very destructive path. So if this is you, brace yourself. However, if not, then you should be fine, because full moons can also be a time of fruition and celebration and clarity. So check to see if you have any planets or angles at 8 degrees, particularly of Capricorn, but also in the other zodiac signs as well. And that'll give you an idea of the kind of experiences that you might be having around this Capricorn full moon. Okay, I think I'm going to leave the challenging energies there. Let's get into your potential opportunities within these 3 months. Okay, starting off with the month of April, we have Mercury entering and moving through the sign of Aries. There will be an Aries new moon. Venus will enter and move through the sign of Gemini, as well as the big one, Uranus, is also entering or re-entering the sign of Gemini. Okay, remember that all the dates of how long each planet will be in each sign are in the comment section. So let's start with Mercury in Aries. I feel like this is a great energy for you, Aries, because you may be feeling way more productive than usual around this time. You will have the ability to get a lot of things done, right? And there may be a lot of curiosities coming up for you as well around this time, which could lead to you not finishing some of the things that you have started. All right, you might be leaving things a little bit half done because many exciting things may be grabbing your attention around this time, and you want to kind of, dip your toe in all of it. So some focus is required, I would say, because you have a lot of energy and a lot of momentum with this transit. And I believe Mars will also be in Aries around this time. You could really use the combination of these two energies, Mercury and Mars, to get ahead with your personal goals. Like, this is a time to lock in for you, Aries, and really start your new year with some momentum. Right, if you're an Aries sun especially, this is your solar return season, right? It's your birthday season, it's your new year season. So, get the ball rolling. Get the ball rolling on the things that you want to see yourself accomplishing before your next birthday, before your next new year. But this is a very, very beautiful energy to work with if you don't let it work you. And then with the Aries new moon, this is a wonderful energy of new beginnings and fresh starts and a rebirth for you. So whether you are Aries rising or Aries sun, it's giving new self, right? It's giving just a new light, a new momentum, a new energy around you, right? An energy of new things. I keep saying the word new. Because this is, as I said, it's your solar return season, it's your new year season. So this is an excellent time for you to either receive or begin something new. All right, something that hasn't been there before, have not yet experienced it, and now can be the time that it is starting. If you are not an Aries rising, check to see which house you have Aries, and that could be where the new beginning starts for you. So it could be in career, might be in a relationship, it could be some form of study, it could be a financial opportunity. Whereas if you are an Aries rising, this is like the beginning steps towards a new lifestyle. All right, your lifestyle may be changing, and this is where it starts. It starts with the choices that you're making now, it starts with the actions that you are putting in right now. And it is also a great time to put certain things to an end. You know how the new moon is a dark side of the moon. We can't really see the moon. We don't know what's going on, right? It's non-visible, right? So you may be the Aries that you don't really know where you stand in life at this point, right? You may be feeling some form of confusion, or you have certain questions, and this could be a time where you kind of just sit in that. You sit in the unknown, looking forward, obviously, to what may come. However, just sit in the unknown and see what it brings about for you. You know, listen in on the ideas that you are having around this time, maybe the advices that you are receiving around this time, because that could lead you to your next step if you don't know what direction to head in. So that is a beautiful energy for you. And then while Venus is in Gemini, this is an excellent energy for networking, collaborating with others, and socializing, just having a social life. So if you have been doing a lot of grinding, a lot of working, and you feel like you need a break, you need to have some fun, while Venus is in Gemini, is a great time to do that. However, if you're the kind of Aries that feels like the work never stops, grind all the time, then you can definitely use this Venus and Gemini energy to network for business purposes. Things are likely, those negotiations, those, pitching of ideas could go particularly well around this time, because Venus is bringing about this charisma and this attractiveness to you and about you. So it's an excellent time for you to speak with others about some of the ideas that you have to expand yourself, as well as how you can be of service to them, by working with you. And lastly, in the month of April, we have the big transit, Uranus entering and moving through the sign of Gemini. So there will be a Uranus in Gemini video at some point. I know my scheduling is way off with these videos, but please do bear with me, and I really do appreciate your patience. For now, I will say that for you, Aries, new innovative ideas are coming through for you. You are likely going to reinvent so many things, like so many already existing things that we have, that we use in society on a daily basis, on a regular basis. And you are going to be the one with the ideas that can actually innovate these things and make them better for everybody else to use. All right. And you, of course, being Aries, you may need to take the lead on initiating some of these ideas or explaining to people how all of this is going to work. I mean, you may even find yourself in a course of learning that you never imagined that you would ever be interested in, right? This could be something that perhaps when you were younger, it didn't interest you at all. You couldn't be bothered. It was a boring subject. You just never imagined that you would ever do it. And within these 8 years of Uranus in Gemini, your interest may be piqued, your curiosity may be piqued, and you may be interested in learning this, obviously in unconventional ways. I don't necessarily see you sitting in some form of a classroom, like a formal teaching environment. I feel like you might be learning this a little haphazardly. You might be learning this on your own schedule, in your own time. Whenever the curiosity and the excitement takes you, that's when you'll do the study, or you might do a bunch of short courses, that helps you understand it better. But you are the one who's gathering all the weird information, you're putting all the strange things together, and you're making sense out of it. All right, but it is going to take time, so do be patient with these outcomes. Don't be in a rush to see these things materializing. Allow the ideas to come gradually and allow yourself to take action towards them gradually as well. And you will find that the pace that things are moving at is a good enough pace. You don't need to accelerate things even further. I mean, this is Uranus in Gemini. I feel like things are going to be happening very quickly in any case. So, knowing your impulsive nature, I don't feel like you're going to have a need or a desire to accelerate things more. I feel like things are going to be going at a pace that you can enjoy, Aries. And this Uranus in Gemini energy can also bring about opportunities for you to break free and receive some form of breakthroughs in the form of information, right? So it could be a piece of information that sets you free. Maybe you didn't know certain rules or you didn't know certain T's and C's, right? You never read the fine print, and then somebody brings that information to you, and that information is maybe able to set you free from an unfair contract or even a mindset, right? The way that you perceive certain things. Maybe there's a situation that you feel like you'll never be free, or this is going to be there for the rest of your life. But then when you do some research or research finds you, you find that, oh, actually, I don't have to deal with this for the rest of my life. There is actually a way out, whatever the situation is for you. But this could be a very, very beneficial for you. This Uranus in Gemini, very, very beneficial for you, Aries. But of course, it depends on the rest of your astrology. And yeah, that is the month of April. Moving on into the month of May, we have Mercury entering and moving through the sign of Gemini, as well as the Sun entering and moving through the sign of Gemini. So what you can expect with these energies are clear thoughts and communications. All right, where when the planets were in Cancer, it may have been difficult to be clear, right? We spoke about that. So now that Mercury is in his sign, Gemini, the communications are just fluid, right? And you feel like when you are thinking, you're thinking clearly, even if your mind might be in many different places at once, but you are still able to articulate all the different thoughts that you are having. So that is excellent. And this is really a great energy for you to sell yourself, Aries. If there are people that you need to invest in you, people that you want to work with, ideas that you want to share, you want to pitch an idea, you're doing a presentation, Mercury in Gemini is a great energy for you to get your point across and to sell yourself. You know, the Geminis are the greatest salesmen in the zodiac, I choose to believe. So you can use this to your benefit, especially with that spark and that fire, the passion that you have and the instincts that you have. You could really work with the Mercury in Gemini energy very, very well. And also, if you want to make plans, you want to draw up a budget, you want to create New Year's resolutions, you just had your birthday if you're an Aries sun, even the rising, because the rising is in the first house. You just had your birthday, you just had your new year. So setting New Year's resolutions and goals right now would be perfect for you. So a plan that is actually tangible, that is actually doable, and having the ideas that can help you achieve these goals and these plans that you are making, those ideas are coming now. Like your mind right now is in a perfect state to make these plans and make decisions, so long as you're not moving from impulse, like you're not in a rush. Okay, it's very important that with Saturn in your sign, Saturn is in Aries right now, it is so important that you plan your moves. It is so important that you plan your moves and that your motivations are in line with what it is that you are building. All right, because Saturn is building in Aries right now. So we need to be clear on what it is that we are building. We can't just build off of impulse and instincts and passion. We do need to give the instincts, the passion, some structure, right? That's where Saturn comes in. So do keep that in mind, that the plans that you are making, they must be grounded in something, and have and plan for the future, plan for the long term goals. And then while the sun is in Gemini, this gives you a vitality boost, right? This is energizer energy. It gives you confidence. You are more productive around this time. So this is a time, once again, very similar to the Aries energy, to push forward with your personal goals, especially those that involve other people, where you need to collaborate with someone, you need somebody to help you with something, and even the goals in which you are helping someone else do something of their own. That could come back with some very good repercussions or outcomes or rewards down the line, even if you're not doing something specifically for yourself, but helping somebody else could actually benefit you later on. But yeah, this is a great energy for socializing and being creative, as well as expressing yourself. And then in the month of June, we have the new moon that'll be in the sign of Gemini. Mars will enter and move through Gemini, and then Jupiter, another big transit, Jupiter will enter and begin its transit through the sign of Leo. So, as you know, with new moon energy, new opportunities coming your way, more especially through other people. So, whether it's your immediate environment, people in your community, your siblings, if you have siblings, extended family members, but anyone that you're interacting with on a regular basis might have an opportunity for you. As I just spoke about, helping somebody else do something for themselves. If somebody asks for your assistance with something, maybe say yes, because they might have a very grand gesture in the way in which they want to thank you for assisting them. They might help you up with a job if you're someone who's seeking employment. They might help you out with a reference. They might refer you somewhere or refer your business if you are self-employed. It could work out to your benefit to help other people around this time. So do with that what you will. And if you have been wondering, when is it the right time for me to start this project, this new habit, this new whatever it is for you, now is the time. Around the new moon in Gemini is a great time for you to start a new project or some form of a new activity. And then while Mars is in the sign of Gemini, this is a super, super productive energy, because remember, Mars is you technically, right? And Gemini is such a productive energy. It's a problem-solving energy. There's just a lot of activity going on, interacting with people, getting certain tasks done. So it is still just like the Mercury in Gemini energy. The Mars in Gemini energy is almost like times 3, because not only is there a lot to do, but you also have the energy to do a lot, right? So you can get a lot accomplished with this Mars in Gemini energy. Putting action behind those ideas. So earlier on, I spoke about jotting down the ideas, planning, right? Putting out a plan, the Mercury in Gemini energy. Put out a plan. What do you want to do? What are you planning to do? Where are you going to, get these resources? How are you going to start? Who do you need to speak to? When Mars is in Gemini, this is when you act. This is when now you put some momentum and some action behind the ideas, behind the conversations. There needs to be some movement. And do start slow. Don't overwhelm yourself with too many tasks, not knowing where you end up, not knowing where you started, where you ended, which will result in not knowing how to continue or how to go forward with something. So you want to definitely pace yourself and know that you're going to accomplish all these things. However, starting somewhere is really important. And I feel like the Mars in Gemini energy is going to help you do that, because of how productive this energy is. And then when it comes to Jupiter in Leo, this will be forming a very positive aspect to your sign, very positive, one of natural ease, where it feels like you're just optimistic without any effort. This is a very feel good kind of energy, more especially for the Aries rising. All right, more especially for the Aries rising. If you have a different rising, the Jupiter in Leo experience might be different for you, particularly if you have a rising in the fixed sign. So in Aquarius, Taurus, and Scorpio, then the energy might be, not the most challenging because it is Jupiter after all. However, not as easy as what the fire signs are going to be experiencing over the next year. So yeah, anyways, a very, optimistic disposition. It feels like lucky situations just seem to find you. Things kind of just work out for you. And there's some generosity going around, not just coming from other people towards you, but also you towards other people. This could be a time where you're doing particularly well in your life and you feel like you can give back. There's this desire to do more for others, to be there, for others. And I feel like you're going to do that. You may even surprise yourself, Aries, with some of the generosity that you may be giving out and sharing with others. And this Jupiter in Leo energy can also bring about opportunities for personal growth and expansion. All right, there's something about what you enjoy in life. What is fulfillment? What is enjoyment for you? And this could be a time where your ideas about that are starting to expand, they're starting to change, and you feel more motivated and driven to just move more in that direction. For some of you, it could be in the form of a career move that is more aligned with what your joy is in life, right? What makes you feel fulfilled in life. But for others of you, it'll just be something you do on the side as a hobby that brings you a lot of joy, so that when you're done with the tasks of the day, and you've been human all day and you've been human all year and you've been taking care of business, then you have some time on your hands, or you're even creating spare time so that you can do more of the things that you enjoy, especially if you're earning more money, receiving more money. There's a lot more opportunity for you to do more of the things that you enjoy, but as I keep saying, it all comes down to what conversation the transiting planets are having with your natal placements, with your natal planets. And one last thing that I want to mention with this Jupiter in Leo energy is that you may notice that within this year, there is some form of repair that may be happening in the realm of children. So this could be your inner child internally. Those of you who are parents, maybe if your children have been going through something challenging in their lives, things may be starting to get better for them. And also those of you who have had challenging relationships with your children, this could be a time where there's some form of repair going on there. Those of you who have been single for many years, or relationships have just, especially the short-term romantic relationships, they just haven't lived up to what your heart has been desiring. Within this year, things might go better than usual. You could actually attract people that are more compatible with you, who you prefer to be. The key thing with this energy is that you must be honest with yourself, Aries, because if you're lying to yourself, you're going to attract people who mirror that, right? People who show up as a lie, people who are pretentious, people who are not genuine. But if you are genuine and honest with yourself, you are aware of the areas of growth and expansion that that you still need to grow, the areas of life that you still need to grow in. You're going to attract people who can help you, but also people that you can enjoy yourself and be romantic with and be yourself with. Actually, I think that's the key thing when it comes to Leo energy, is about the truth of the self, right? The self-expression, the authentic ego. So anyways, let me not ramble on too much. I will leave that there. And the Jupiter in Leo video is also coming soon. So do please keep your eyes peeled for that. And with that said, we have reached the end of your horoscope, my awesome Aries. That is the most significant astrology that I see coming your way within these 3 months. Thank you so much for your patience, and thank you for listening. You're more than welcome to save or download this audio so you can come back to it later if need be. And on my end, I would appreciate a like or a comment if you found any of this information helpful. And if you would like to reach out to me personally, my contact methods are listed in the description below. For now, stay awesome, and I will catch up with you soon.